Day, guys. We finally, guys, show some love in the chat. We finally are putting some people in handcuffs that have outright broken the law, harboring gang members, Tren de Aragua gang members. So we have finally put the one judge and his wife in handcuffs. This is the first of many to come. This was Kash Patel, Bongino's FBI team that made this happen, guys. This is what I'm talking about. Judge out of Arizona was harboring a Tren de Aragua gang member in his home. Found out about it. Him and his wife are both going to jail. And it's about time. We're holding these people accountable. There's more to come because I'm telling you guys, we got a dang good show for you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited to see this? More arrests are coming. There is literally acting federal officials that have stated they will not enact or execute the president's executive orders. Then, now we have the FBI, the DOJ, who are saying we're about to see more arrests go down because when they let in 20+ million illegal immigrants invade our country, they arrested individuals that tried to secure the southern border. They were arrested, not the immigrants that were coming over illegally. So now it's time for justice. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited about this? Because I am, guys. When I show you the video, finally, to see accountability happening, and they said this is just the beginning. We also have the disgraced New York Attorney General Letitia James has officially hired Hunter Biden's lawyer, yes, Hunter Biden's lawyer, to represent her in her mortgage fraud case. How much you want to bet she's going to tell the lawyer, hey, you better tell the Bidens, you better tell them to work me out a deal with the Democrats, you better try to do something because if not, I'm going to reveal what I know. She could face 30 years in prison. Roger Stone said New York Attorney General Letitia James was also one among the leading recipients of the contributions from non-existent straw donors that funneled much money to her campaign through the Act Blue organization. Remember I told you Trump was going after Act Blue? Well, guess what? Elon Musk came out and said Act Blue is guilty of widespread criminal identity theft. They're coming in, guys. They're finally coming in to come in and bring justice, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because, again, it's all adding up. She's one of the biggest recipients of all this foreign money coming through these donors that never even knew who she was through Act Blue. All this fraud, corruption is about to be revealed. We also have another Democratic judge. Listen to this, guys. Because as president of the United States, Trump cannot issue an executive order requiring voter ID for federal elections. But listen to this. A Democratic judge has issued a nationwide injunction blocking all states, all 50 states, from requiring proof of citizenship when registering to vote. Did you hear what I just said? Trump, as the president, can't issue an executive order to require voter ID for federal elections, but a federal district court can bar the entire country from requiring voter ID to register to vote. Get ready, guys. Get the popcorn out. We're about to get into it. This is about to be the fight of our lives when it comes to the justice of the American people. The Democrats imported millions of new voters over the past 4 years, and they don't want to let anything stand in their way of 2026 and 2028. None of this makes sense. I can't even believe that I'm saying this because it doesn't make sense. But we've got a crazy show for you today, guys. It's going to get good. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Guys, thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want you. Come and join us. Guys, we are bringing the truth And want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, all the OGs of the channel. Guys, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the super chats that help us donate more and more every single month to the local charities. And I got to give some love to Deborah Hoyce for the super chat, and Mr. Tracy J. Norby for gifting 10 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a membership, show them some love in the chat, guys. Grow in the TrueLife News family. We got a crazy show to you today. Finally got a judge in handcuffs, not just him and his wife, for harboring a gang member. The FBI is coming out now, finally, guys. If you appreciate this, give us some huge support, guys. Hit that thumbs up like button. We got a crazy show for you today, and it's about to get good. Check this out.
How safe do you feel? I mean, you got the cops to protect you, right? You got the military, too, right? You sure? Because yesterday, and I'm shocked more people aren't talking about this, dual citizen of Lebanon and America, who openly identified as Palestinian, went into the Air National Guard to, according to the indictment, to get military weapons training. He was just charged with 9 counts related to terrorism yesterday. Now, he had already been charged with detonating pipe bombs targeting Jewish facilities, but now, in this superseding indictment, it turns out he lied about his loyalty to the United States. He's being charged with false statements in an attempt to obtain a top-secret security clearance, among other things. Keep in mind, this is a U.S. service member that was, in fact, granted a security clearance review. He lied through 3 separate interviews before they caught him, all the while openly supporting and expressing support for Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Look, here.
Again, this is the sleeper cells, guys. These are the people that Biden let into this country, unvetted, who came in, have no idea, and now we're finding out they're dang terrorists from another country trying to infiltrate our military.
Page 4 of his indictment. Hamad, his name, he told others that despite joining the Air Force, he was still more loyal to Palestine and Lebanon than the United States. On his social media, he posted multiple times things like this, quote, "Been toting that case since I was a boy," pictures of him as a kid, "don't play with me." He also said, "All right, y'all say a prayer with me. Inshallah, one day each bullet in this kisses the foreheads of the Zionist oppressor, Amen," which is Amen. This guy was a terrorist enlisted in our military with a pending security clearance and access to weapons. This is a real problem that's been around for a while, and it's not being addressed. I hope Pete Hegseth is on it after this. But I'm just going to come out and say it, because our intel community has, and our military and all of politics, has basically been so wrung out on DEI training that they're afraid to even suggest anyone with radical Muslim views might actually carry out action on radical Muslim views. Now, going back to the 90s, Ali Muhammad, the former U.S. Army sergeant, pled guilty in 2000 to conspiracy charges related to al-Qaeda's 1998 U.S. embassy bombing in Africa. Semi Osman, U.S. Army, convicted in 2002 on terrorism charges for hosting a terrorist training camp on his own property shortly after converting to Islam. Jeffrey Battle, U.S. Army Reserves, convicted in 2003 while trying to join al-Qaeda. Hassan Abu Jihad, U.S. Navy, converted to Islam in 1995, was charged in 2002 and convicted in 2008 with leaking classified information to al-Qaeda. Bryant Vinnis, U.S. Army, for a few weeks. After converting to Islam in 2004, he provided detailed information about New York's train system in an attempt to facilitate terrorist attacks. He pled guilty in 2009. You remember Fort Hood? Major Hassan? That guy killed 12 soldiers, 1 civilian, and an unborn child, injuring 32 more on a military base. His motives were driven by radical Islam. He's currently on death row.
Guys, this is what I'm telling you. If we don't keep doing what I'm about to show you, breaking the judge that I told you, this is the first arrest by the FBI. This guy was harboring a Trenda Aragua gang member. Look at this. What the heck is this? Look at this. This guy, all these sleeper cells, all these people that want to harm the United States came into the country illegally. This is why we've got to clean house. Get them all out. If they have criminal terrorist backgrounds, guys, what the heck are we doing? We're so focused on being politically correct. This has finally happened, though. We're finally arresting a judge for harboring a Trinidad gang member. But what you're seeing on the screen is we're finally holding these people accountable, that there's a lot of people out there that don't like the United States and want to bring harm to us. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, we are bringing the truth.
Oh, thank God. The FBI actually knew he had communicated with Anwar al-Awlaki, a Yemen-based al-Qaeda cleric, before the shooting, too. And yet, after that, even after that, Obama, on multiple occasions, refused to acknowledge radical Islam.
There's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point.
Wow.
There's not been a moment in my 7.5 years as president.
Didn't they say that Obama, let me know in the chat, didn't they say that he was like Muslim, Islam, or something like that? Maybe that's why he's trying to push it off and say there's no radical Islam?
We have not been able to pursue a strategy because we didn't use the label radical Islam.
But even after a U.S. Army major murdered fellow soldiers, we still didn't root out this problem. Paul Rockwood, 2010, U.S. Navy, who converted to Islam in 2001, created a hit list of U.S. targets for assassinations and bombings after attending an Islamic center in Virginia. Tons of examples here. Cole Bridges ended up pleading guilty for terrorism. Ethan Melzer gave information to al-Qaeda affiliates about troop locations and movements in Afghanistan. Remember this guy, Shamsud Din Jabbar, Army? He was the one who just drove a vehicle through the New Orleans Mardi Gras party and had an ISIS flag. And now we see this stuff yesterday. I list all these names,
guys,
because there's
is this not like, look at this, sleeper cells here. There was over hundreds of thousands of terrorists that came over our southern border, that we didn't vet them. They came with fake IDs. And the Biden administration let them in, and they have caused terror. They've gotten into our military. They've taken people's lives. They've raped women. They've raped boys. Guys, I'm telling you, if we don't hold these dang politicians accountable for all of this, this will never stop. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Fact pattern here. But anytime someone says the truth, people get very uncomfortable. But there is a problem with radicalized Muslims in our military and some in our culture. But there are instances not just in the military. 1, 2 people, though, they go into the military, they get military training, like our soldiers. One guy that we know about, we just said, started a training camp afterwards. But how many more unknowns are there? Because beyond the military, we have the Detroit sleeper cell, where 4 Middle Eastern men were accused of forming a terror plot cell, plotting an attack on Disneyland. Their case was actually overturned over evidence handling errors, but remains super controversial. The Buffalo Six traveled to an al-Qaeda training camp in Afghanistan in 2001, before 9/11, pled guilty to material support for terrorism. We've had Hezbollah operatives arrested on a number of occasions in recent years, ongoing investigations on Iranian sleeper cells, some allegations that they're even serving in our government, terrorist cells in Los Angeles. Again, these are the ones we know about. You know how many we don't? You know how many terrorist attacks are thwarted on a daily basis across this nation that we will never know about because they remain classified? I'll give you a hint. It's not 0 every day. Folks, we are living in a dangerous time, but there's a bunch of people out there who either refuse to admit it or actively impede sensible investigations into these things out of political correctness. And that's my concern here, because our law enforcement, they're comprised of good men and women, same with our intelligence communities, and they have to be right 100% of the time. 1 million out of 1 million times, they have to do everything right.
Guys, and this is the data, guys. Within the years that Biden was president, there was over 2,070,768 known gotaways. For one, I don't even know how you know that if they're a gotaway and you know it and they still got away. That's over 2 million people. I can promise you, there was some dang terrorists in there. There were some dang criminals in there. There were some bad people in that over 2 million people. And this is the thing that the Democrats don't want to acknowledge. This is the stuff that's why we need the FBI. We need Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Bondi to be out there, our Department of Justice, arresting these people and cleaning up America.
One terrorist has to get one thing right, one time out of one of those million times, for you to lose a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, or a child, or in the case of 9/11, 3,000 of them. So when I hear people complaining about Trump smoking 74 terrorist leaders who were planning attacks on U.S. soil, I ask them, whose side are you on? And get the hell out of my country. I joined the military to go have that fight on their shoulders, not ours. And yet we allow it to exist here under this bubble of political correctness. And like all these people I just named were known to the FBI and our intelligence community for a very long time before actions were taken, and sometimes got away with killing Americans because actions were not taken soon enough, like Major Hassan specifically. But I think
guys, let me tell you this. If this doesn't happen more, we're finally, Judge Juan Cano and his wife arrested by federal authorities after they harbored a TDA gang member, a Tren de Aragua gang member, at their home. Guys, look at these pictures, guys. Like, I don't even understand this. Like, what the heck? And this is him. They've got him, look, in handcuffs. If we don't see more people getting in handcuffs and being held accountable and actually the Department of Justice doing their dang job, guys, I hate showing you this, but this crap is going to happen more. Illegal alien from Mexico, arrested for violently raping a 13-year-old boy that was playing hide and seek with his 8-year-old brother in Punta Gorda, Florida. ICE to police Samuel Cabos Carmona entered the U.S. illegally in when? 2021 under Joe Biden. This crap is going to constantly happen if we don't put people in handcuffs and clean up the United States, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this makes me so mad. That boy's life will never be the same. That family's life will never be the same because Biden let them in. They didn't have to unsecure the border, but they did. And I believe Biden has to answer for stuff like this. Alejandro Mayorkas has to answer for these types of crimes because it was your policies that allowed this to happen. These boys were just out being innocent playing. And because, again, with families that got kids, guys, this makes me so mad. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Robin King, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Robin some love in the chat because, guys, we're getting even deeper with this. Listen to this. I'm telling you, the gloves are coming off right now. Check this out.
Neil from Daily Signal, Rob Bluey's great news site, is going to join us. Tyler, tell us about people that are just adamant about they're not going to implement President Trump's plans. You've got some numbers from polling of people who used to be called bureaucrats. Now it's the administrative state. How big a fight does President Trump have in just getting his executive orders and presidential memorandums executed, sir?
It's tremendous. And I mean, as you've noted, this is a judicial coup that they're facing right now. But in the actual bureaucracy, in the executive branch, people who are supposed to report to the president of the United States, these people are planning to oppose the president from within. And there's this shocking new poll that found, and these numbers are almost unbelievable. It's 75%. That's 3/4 of all the Washington, D.C. based federal employees who make over $75,000 a year. This is the deep state. They said if Trump issued a lawful order that they disagreed with, that they thought was bad policy, they would not follow that order. That's 75% of the bureaucrats who voted for Kamala Harris in the last election. By the way, it's not
75. Put their butts in jail, guys. Let me know your thoughts. That's 100% insubordination. Fire them. Or if they do something unlawful, put their butts in jail. If you appreciate the truth and what we're showing you guys, please hit that thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support.
It's not 75% of all bureaucrats in D.C. It's 75% of those who voted for Harris in the last election. Only 16% of the bureaucrats who voted for Harris in the last election said they would follow a lawful Trump order. if they thought it was bad policy.
Wow.
This is, this isn't like saying they're violating the law. This is
but 90%. Yeah, 90% of them voted. 90% of them voted for Harris. I want to go back to this because this is what Elon, and I don't think we've gotten the full report. Although I hear it's it may be 100 up to 100,000. They may, or maybe even more, maybe 200,000. And maybe they're freezing money for these people to get paid. I'm sure the judges are going to get involved in this. This is what Doge did the most powerfully as a blunt force instrument, went into some of these departments. Now, that's not the fraud. That's more programmatic, but we'll take what we can get. I just want to make sure people understand what this poll says. 75% of the administrative state people making over $75,000. So they are more senior. These are actual people that are at the mid-level managerial level and above. But these are the people that you need in the bureaucracy to actually make things. And President Trump, I tell folks, when he signs the executive order, it goes out to the cabinet head or to the alphabet agency head, but then it's got to go back down through the system to actually be executed.
Yes.
What you're saying is that of the overwhelming majority of these people voted for Harris. Of those, 75% making more than $75,000, which is the key people that need to make stuff happen, said if it was a lawful executive order or president memorandum or presidential direction for action, lawful, and they knew it was lawful, they still would not execute it, correct?
Yeah, well, and the interesting thing here, only about 47% of these bureaucrats voted for Harris. And another...
Guys, let me... Like, the stuff that we're seeing, remember, it's not just enough for Trump to win. In the last 24... We're hearing all this about what's happening in the deep state. In the last 24 hours, judges have ordered the Trump administration to bring back another illegal alien from El Salvador, restore funds to schools practicing DEI, restore funds to sanctuary cities, and drop a proof of citizen mandate for voter registration. Guys, if it takes this type of guy with that type of look to fight the deep state, because it's deeper than we could ever have imagined.
46% voted for Trump. So we're already seeing, this poll was taken in March. We're already seeing some change in the new administration where there are a few more Republicans or people who voted for Trump in the administrative state than there were before. The last poll was taken in December. But even so, this is 75% of that roughly half of the bureaucrats who say they voted for Harris say they're going to oppose. Yeah.
They're saying, they're saying they voted for Trump. I ain't buying that. Hang over a second, Tyler. Just hang over. Take a commercial break. Tyler, Tyler, you've got some interesting observations about the people in these NGOs suing President Trump. Because remember, to delay is to deny. They got to get groups to go in and sue, and these federal judges sit there with the judicial insurrection and shut down President Trump's movement.
Yeah, most of these organizations are the same ones I name in my book, The Woktopus, the dark money cabal manipulating the federal government. And this book is explaining all of the infrastructure of the left, the woke NGOs that staffed and advised the Biden administration, using the federal bureaucracy to force their ideology on the American people. Some of these groups include, naturally, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the American Civil Liberties Union, the Center for American Progress, the Human Rights Campaign. Some of these same groups are now suing the Biden administration, or suing the Trump administration, excuse me. They love the Biden administration. They'd never sue them. But they sue to block everything in the Trump administration. And as you well know, choosing these judges, selecting them so that they can get these injunctions to block Trump's orders and essentially have these judges make themselves the power in the executive branch. And so this is a vast network of organizations that staffed and advised the Biden administration, a dark money network funding them. Many of the groups that funded them, by the way, the AFL-CIO, America's largest union, part of them is the AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees. And this union has filed dozens of lawsuits against the Trump administration.
Dang.
And the really shocking thing about this.
Guys, do you hear this? dozens of lawsuits. Remember, I told you earlier today, there is now over 200 lawsuits against the Trump administration. There is over 50 federal injunctions against the Trump administration. The courts are fighting like never before. We're not fighting the Democrats. I mean, it is the Democratic left-wing progressive, but they're not even in the picture anymore. It's these federal district court judges that are acting like they're more powerful than the sitting president.
Federal bureaucrats who are members of this union can do work for this union and get paid by the taxpayer for the work they do for the union, as opposed to the work they're hired by the American people to do. And it is quite likely that some of this taxpayer funding is actually going toward the very lawsuits against the Trump administration that are blocking the president from fulfilling his promises to the American people.
Do you hear
Tyler,
this?
you're on top of this. The guys over at Daily Signal, you've got the great Rob Bluey. Where do people go to the news site? What's your social media?
Thank you. Yeah, you go to dailysignal.com. You can find us on all platforms.
Guys, let me tell you this. If it is not the dang craziest thing that we get told that our taxpayer dollars are being used to fight the very person that we support. Chip Trap, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, did you know when you donate to organizations like Black Lives Matter, when you hit the donate button, it takes you to Act Blue? No way. We're going to try that out in a moment. Y'all show Chip some love in the chat, as well as Mr. Tracy J. Norby for 10 TrueLife gifted memberships. Let's go. If you got a free membership, y'all show Mr. Norby, OG of the channel, some love in the chat, as well as Jay Ewers for a super chat. Let's go. Hey, guys, y'all help Jay Ewers. He's trying to be a member. Y'all help him out, guys. Y'all see it different than I do on my side. So right now, guys, the Harris campaign has sent out this to all the Democrats. This is about as desperate as you can get. Democrats across the country have received a lot fewer individual donations so far this month than they had been hoped for, and certainly less than the last few months. It's not great. Some of the reasons are totally understandable. The economy looks incredibly shaky. Elon is firing as many people as he can, and there are a lot of organizations that need help during this crazy time. Guys, are you kidding me? If there's anything that shows they're desperate, they ain't got it anymore, guys, we're just going to keep showing you this, because guess what? Jay Ewers, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Jay Ewers some love in the chat. Judge Juan Cano and his wife finally arrested by federal authorities after they harbored a TDA gang member at home. This is what we need more of, guys. We need more accountability. More accountability throughout our entire judicial system. And I showed you this earlier, guys, but this is so powerful. After several meetings with officials inside the Trump Justice Department, arrest will begin soon, says Trump Insider. Let's go, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, because I'm telling you, the cover-up is being exposed. The Democrats are trying like never before to try to get away from the old Biden, Hillary Clinton, Obamas. But guess what? We're going to hold them first accountable. Check this out.
Moments ruin it for older Democrats. A civil war is erupting in the party, pitting the old guard versus the new guard as a wave of retirements clears a path for younger Democrats. A Rutgers political scientist is blaming the former president, saying this: "This is fallout from the Biden effect. It contaminated old Democrats." According to Harvard's new youth poll, approval of the Democratic Party has plummeted in half in just 5 years.
Wow.
And the first domino to fall?
Guys, whoa. Look at that. Democrats' approval among young voters is at 23%. This is literally less than half in 4 years, guys. But what's happened? Elon got X. We started exposing all their lies, all their gaslighting, all the wasteful spending, the inflation, they've been exposed. That's why nobody approves of them.
And the first domino to fall, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin announcing his retirement after decades in Congress.
I think if you're honest about yourself and your reputation, you want to leave when you can still walk out the front door and not be carried out the back door.
Dang.
This old versus young dynamic is playing out at the DNC.
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, let's go. Dina McDaniel, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Dina some love in the chat.
Party's chairman, Ken Martin, forced a rebuke by President Greg. Anyway, there's some Democrats. Watch this.
Voters should decide who our primary nominees are, not DNC leadership. I have great respect for David Hogg. I've said to him, if you want to challenge incumbents, you're more than free to do that, but just not as an officer of the DNC, because our job is to be neutral arbiters.
But the young uprising comes at a cost, and National Review is saying this. Social media is killing the Democratic Party, warning that swing state voters are not fans of the party, elevating left-wing influencers over coalition builders. But Pete Buttigieg is warning Dems to cool it with the woke finger-pointing, saying this.
There are a lot of people that I think Democrats are understood to care about. Like
Yes.
low-income people, black and brown people are like disproportionately caught up in the economic pain when something like this happens. And so I do think my party needs to do a much better job, especially with the kind of finger wagging that you're talking about. I think we are like very prone to that. You get this sense of like moral conviction and you're so sure of it that you start to think it makes it okay to be an asshole.
So time waits for no one, right? It's the most bipartisan thing in the world, Kaylee, and you did have the Biden effect, but when you look at the average age of the leadership of the Democratic Party, it is way up there. And so this is a little bit inevitable.
Yes.
It is. And you're going to see these challengers. They tend to be younger. They tend to be progressive. They tend to be popular among Democrats, like we've seen in the polling with AOC. The end of what Jessica said there, I want to pick up on that. Ken Martin at the DNC. He's exactly right to say you cannot be a player and a referee. I worked at the RNC for nearly 3 years, and we did not play in primaries. It was a strict rule. You know, we are there to support whoever gets the nomination and carry it forward. So David Hogg is wrong in that sense to say, let's go out and primary people. Here's the problem for the DNC. They have a hypocrisy problem. A lot of people like David Hogg, perhaps, remember Bernie Sanders in 2016 and Donna Brazile, who wrote the book, who said if the fight had been fair, one campaign would not have had control of the party. She was meaning the Hillary Clinton campaign. She said it was not criminal, but it compromised the party's integrity. Elizabeth Warren was asked, do you think this was rigged against Bernie? She said, yes. We all remember the emails that came out that talked about Bernie Sanders' religion and how that would play in Kentucky and West Virginia. Even the New York Times called into question the integrity of the DNC and their fairness there. And then we remember 2024, where not a single vote was cast for Kamala Harris. I get it was an aberrational circumstance, but I'm certain there are young people, there are Gen Z, there are progressives on the sidelines who feel like the deck has been stacked against them, and the DNC is going to have to figure that out. Ken Martin's right, but you got to grapple with the past.
What about, Greg, the fact that the cover-up of Biden's age and acuity is affecting them? And I think they hurt the Democratic Party for an entire generation.
Yeah, unless the media doesn't write about it. Now, the way it's portrayed, they're all acting like this was a big surprise. I think there are obvious explanations for this that have nothing to do with age. No one wants to be in a party where they aren't wanted. Men left because they were tired of being the villain in every story.
Yep.
Where did they go? The party where it's okay to be a guy and the women do not have penises. It's a no-brainer. That's where you go. It's sad to see Dick go, though.
Right.
I think this is a blowback due to identity politics. The party became the awful party, the affluent white liberal female, where they identify every group. They created a hierarchy of grievance where blame and victimhood became its currency. It doesn't matter if you're 40 or 80 or 20 or 30. If you embrace this Marxist platform that life is nothing but a struggle between people with power, it's going to drive people crazy. Because we notice this in your Peloton class, in your book club, in the movies you watch. It's suffocating. People don't want to be in a world where somebody is blaming somebody else. And so what happened? The very worst thing possible. The Democrats became uncool. This is like the first time. They became the next door neighbor in Bewitched. Was it Mrs. Gladys?
Gladys.
Gladys. The Dean in Animal House. And then you have Fonzie, America's bad boy, a mix of Evel Knievel, Don Rickles, and Godzilla, all in Donald Trump. And the more that you demonized him, the cooler he got. He became the political equivalent of a Hells Angels jacket. You put it on, underneath it, you got a pack of smokes wrapped up in your T-shirt. It just was like, what kid wouldn't like to be part of that, as opposed to the party that their substitute teacher belongs to with all the little pins on her backpack. It is the Democrats' greatest achievement that they made common sense the essence of rebellion. And they anointed Trump being its gladiator. The wackier and more intrusive the woke-driven Democrats got, the more subversive stuff like plastic straws, gas-powered cars, hot real women became. The Dems became the frumpy crone in the used bookstore. The Republicans became the bikini-clad woman holding a flamethrower. Who doesn't want that?
That's fun.
Guys, it's so bad, guys. I have to show you this. This is literally rocking the entire Democratic Party. I'm telling you, things are changing across the online spectrum. So Jason Pizzo is the Florida Senate Democratic Minority Leader. He is just announced today he has left his party, is returning, and is switching affiliations. Guys, this is as crazy as it gets. Democrats are jumping ship. I'm telling you, they're trying to get ahead of what's coming with the FBI, the National Intelligence Agency, and Pam Bondi, Catch Patel, and Dan Bongino. Listen to this.
Whom I'm finding may not want it. There'll be a caucus meeting later this afternoon where I hope that the members of the Democratic caucus will elect a new leader. For today, I FedExed my voter registration form to change my party affiliation to no party affiliation. Joe Scott should receive that by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning in Broward County. And here's why. Our constituents are craving practical leaders, not political hacks. We are entrusted to be guided by our conscience, and while I suppose it's easier in theory than it is in application, even my worst detractors have no valid claim that I can be bullied, that I can be bought, or even borrowed for a special interest. I am my father's son, even in his death. I am my mother's son while she is still alive. I will not miss another one of her birthdays, and I will return to who I was when I became a young man, independent in thought, in my passion, and my conscience, not consultants.
Guys, do you hear this? He's like, I've got to get back to being independent. Because what does the Democratic Party do? If you don't agree with me, you're evil. If you don't agree with me, you're racist. If you don't agree with me, then something's wrong with you. Guys, it's so bad. It's so bad. What I'm about to show you, you're not going to believe. In the city, I've got it right here, guys. In the city of Washington State, they tried to pass a law that if you were black and you were a first-time home buyer, you would get an automatic $120,000 to help buy and put down and pay for closing costs and buy your house. No repayment whatsoever. The only stipulation was you had to be black and you had to be a first-time home buyer. It didn't pass. Well, guess what? Every single person out there in Washington State is now calling everybody that voted against it racist. They say that racism has taken over in Washington State because they're not giving black Americans $120,000, excluding white and Asian home buyers. Guys, I'm about to show you this, guys. This is nuts, but I want to say thank you so much, Joyce Sarah Day, for the super chat. Let's go. Said the judges all have to go. And thank you so much, Virginia Friday, for the super chat. Said, Joel, I'm giving monthly. Thank you so much for your support, Virginia. And Joyce, y'all show them some love in the chat. You cannot make this up, guys. This is the America that we're living in.
Maybe they might want to call me a monkey today because I want to participate in our inclusive economy. This is getting ridiculous.
Do you hear this? So, again, you're racist if you don't just give them each $120,000 with no repayment.
People in my community are asking for restorative justice. They're asking for us to repair the harms that previous members of this institution, and I would dare to say, Mr. Speaker, some current members.
Feel free to step right up.
Yes,
Let's
you're
do
part
it.
of this history now.
This is great. Okay. Washington State's Covenant Homeownership Program provides down payment and closing cost assistance for lower income, first-time home buyers. Lawmakers created the program to address the disproportionate impacts of racial redlining in Washington State. House Bill 1696 modifies the program by adjusting the area median income.
I'm so sorry, guys. I misspoke. They did pass it. Can you believe this? This is as racist as it gets. How in the world in the United States of America could you have enough people to pass a law, Governor Ferguson bill signing, that not white, not Asian, not Hispanic, if you're black, you're a first-time home buyer, we're going to give you 120,000 doll hairs. Golly, guys. Look, I'm just giving you the truth, the breaking news, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, I can't even... That is so crazy to me. It's so wrong, guys. But I wanted to bring back, because I'm trying to layer the show. This is just nuts.
Good visual to turn to Brian on for a last word.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yes.
It was so split, but I don't think age matters. I don't think it's that Joe Biden didn't ruin older people for being the leaders of the Democratic Party. It's just credibility. I think that people know that he wasn't ready for the job. They got mad at you when you brought it up, and people covered for him, and now the media lied for him. Now they have no credibility. Joe Biden's gone, and they've lost the trust of the American people. In terms of David Hogg, I mean, he has never run a campaign. He has never helped a candidate. He has just yelled a lot about guns, and he's able to raise a lot of money. So he's being attacked not by us and not by people outside here. He's being attacked by people at his own party. They're calling him a twerp. They're calling him out. And I remember what Reince Priebus said on Sunday. He said, what would you do if your vice chair came out and said, I'm going to primary people? He goes, oh, I would have fired him. Right. He said, I would have fired him. He said, you have some good points. I kind of agree with you, but you can't do this. That's not the way it works. Someone in charge has to has their deputy turn on him. And I would just say this. You just saw the most inauthentic thing possible to start this segment. It was Mayor Pete cursing, growing a beard, who took his pronouns down because he looked at the pie charts and the bar graphs and said, you got to be tough and you got to show a ruggedness. So he's playing dress up again. So to me, if that is what you're going to bet on, inauthenticity, and what Trump did today, for example, it just punted anybody who's concerned about age. Dick Durbin wants to step aside. That's fine. I don't think he's slipping. But does anyone remember they said Trump was slipping? This guy every day talks to the press for 90 minutes. He just sat there with the Prime Minister of Norway and just took every question all the time. Now he's going to go sit down with 3 reporters from the Atlantic.
Right.
If you weren't confident at the top of your game or worried, do you think he had to go talk to his, no offense, talk to his press team to find out if I should do the Atlantic story? No, I can do it.
No, he doesn't talk to them.
So I just think that age doesn't matter. I don't think Biden ruined for age. I just think he ruined for credibility because he couldn't do the job and he didn't tell us. He wouldn't admit it. The party covered for him, and now the media covered for him, and now Biden's out of the picture, and they've lost their credibility.
Can I mention one thing about David Hogg?
I'm telling you, we are living in some Crazy times. I just got to show you this again. How? Golly. Hope K59, thank you for gifting a True Life News membership. Let's go. Y'all show Hope some love in the chat, as well as Leanne Wilson for the super chat. Show some love to Leanne Wilson. Let's go. 120,000 if you live in Washington State and you're a first-time home buyer and you're black. You're white? No. You're Asian? No. If you're Hispanic? No. Wow. Oh my goodness. But on the flip side, guys, got to show you guys the Judge Juan Cano and his wife arrested by federal authorities after they harbored a TDA gang member at home. It's about dang time. Look at this guy. There's his wife. There's he is in handcuffs. It's about dang time that we hold these people accountable. The first judge to be arrested by Kash Patel's FBI. The Democrats are losing it, guys. We got to show you this because there was a ton of Democrats that with what is coming out, there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse getting tied to a lot of Democrats. They are jumping ship. Guys, you're not going to believe what I'm about to show you. Check this out.
For some time, he's been in leadership, too, so a critical makeup here now. A critical move, I should say, for Dick Durbin out of Illinois. Here is the current composition. The Senate, 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. The playing field for Republicans next time around in 2026 is quite favorable. Here are 5 Democrats who said they will not run for re-election during that time. You got Shaheen out of New Hampshire, 2 in Minnesota. Durbin, I mentioned here, then Mitch McConnell, the only Republican on this board from the state of Kentucky. So we went back to find out who had the lead, who was favored in these specific states, all right? In New Hampshire, you had Kamala Harris win slightly there. In Minnesota, she had a greater advantage. And then I'd pop on down to Illinois. Illinois really hasn't been contested for some time statewide. Democrats have dominated that state. Conversely, in Michigan, Trump was a slight winner there. In Kentucky, he was an easy winner if you look at those that were on the board prior. In Illinois alone, there are at least 6 who may be jumping in this fight to win Durbin's seat. There could be as many as 12, all right? The average age of these 6 so far, 55. Let me go back 2 slots here. Average age on this board, 75. And now you see the rub. Who better? Karl Rove to answer all this. And Karl, good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Morning.
David Hogg is a Democrat out of Florida. He's 25 years old. He said, thank you for your incredible service to our country, your leadership, and for passing the torch to the next generation. Karl, you've looked at this. What do you think right now?
Well, I think this is Hogg trying to sort of rescue himself because he announced he turned 25 on the 12th of April, and 3 days later he announced as the Democratic National Committee vice chairman that he was going to raise $20 million to defeat older Democratic incumbents in the U.S. House of Representatives. And, it's sort of unusual. James Carville, the raging Cajun, immediately said it was the most insane thing he ever heard. A Democratic Party official who says, my first responsibility is to defeat Democrats. I mean, really, really strange. And the Democrats have really shook up over this. Mr. Hogg's an interesting character. He actually has a super PAC called Leaders We Deserve. Last cycle, he raised $11.9 million for that PAC. He spent $10.7 million of it, but only $266,000 or 2.48% was spent on campaigns or transfers to other federal committees. Wow. So most of that money was spent on, overhead, including, I looked at the FEC report. Boy, they ordered a lot through DoorDash. I mean, constantly ordering meals. In fact, they almost spent about half as much on his own salary as they did on aiding candidates. So maybe it was a big boast that he was going to go out and get $20 million and spend it on Democrats.
Wow.
Maybe he was just going to continue spend 97% of his money on operations.
Get in politics and get rich.
That's amazing. Okay, so that's all happening. In the meantime, Rahm Emanuel got in an argument with a podcaster. I actually think it's good that Democrats are going through this kind of thing. Watch here about this argument on trans.
We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100
Okay, the only room we got, the only room we were really well is the bathroom, and that's the smallest room in the house.
That is total. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative, and I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this.
And Carl, it went.
Guys, I gotta play that again.
That's all happening. In the meantime, Rahm Emanuel got in an argument with a podcaster. I actually think it's good that Democrats are going through this kind of thing. Watch here about this argument on trans.
We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100
Okay, the only room we got, the only room we were doing really well was the bathroom, and that's the smallest room in the house.
That is total. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative, and I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this.
And Carl, it went on from there.
Salty.
Well, Rahm Emanuel is one smart guy, and let's hope that most of the Democrats don't listen to people like him and continue to go down this left-wing, progressive, Bernie Sanders, AOC line of saying we're for a bunch of crazy solutions to the problems that ordinary Americans face. There is a reason why the Democratic Party is at an all-time low in one of these national polls, NBC News. Since 1991, they've been tracking this. 27% approve of the Democratic Party today, and it's because you have people like that podcaster trying to talk over smart people like Rahm Emanuel who know how to win elections.
I agree. I think it's good that they're having these arguments. We showed a few others yesterday on the 5, and we were saying in the break, the Democrats are so in the wilderness, they have no way to figure out which direction to go. There's no compass, there's no Starlink, the signal is out, their cell phone's not working, nothing's working. But maybe if they can have some of these tougher conversations, it'll help.
Yeah. Nice piece.
Guys, let me tell you this. Whenever the richest man in the world who has access to everything pretty much in the federal government and all the records and all the stuff that we've seen thus far comes out and says this, Act Blue, which is the largest Democratic organization campaign funding system out there, says that Act Blue is guilty of widespread criminal identity theft, I would listen. Because I'm telling you what, we are going through such a revolution right now, guys, and I love it. Everything is on the table, the kitchen table. Because I don't know about y'all, guys, but the more that we learn about what I'm about to show you next, the more we learn that we've been taken advantage of, guys. If you appreciate this truth, look at this. Act Blue is guilty of widespread criminal identity theft. This person put, maybe now someone can explain why donations were made in my name to Act Blue candidates in Kansas when I've never been to Kansas. Look at this. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much, Paul Triggs, guys, for the super chat. Let's go. Say, keep up the good work, Joel. Hard to watch live. Aussie time difference. Go to see the judges getting owned. And thank you so much, guys. The OG of the channel, our brother, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Let's go. Sent 10 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a membership from him, show him some love in the chat, guys. What an amazing guy. Helping to grow the TrueLife News family. Brother, it means so much. Y'all show him some love in the chat. Guys, I want to show you this because I'm telling you, it's not just MAGA, it's Maha. And this, to me, is just as important. Because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, what's happened, and we're finally getting to the dang essence of it all, the dang truth. Check this out.
Funny, Rosie never talked about health until Trump and Kennedy got in power. And she's been on TV for decades. America leads the world in chronic diseases and obesity, and studies are pointing the finger at processed foods. So today, RFK and his team at HHS took their boldest step yet to confront America's chronic health crisis. Watch.
Today, the FDA is taking action to remove petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply and from medications. For the last 50 years, American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals.
Food diet is just a no-brainer. Nobody wants to eat petroleum. Everybody knows there's enough science out there that we know it's terrible for you. That causes health problems, but also behavioral problems. Healthy person has 1,000 dreams. The sick person only has one. And right now, there's 60% of the people in this country who have only one dream. If they can make it through a day without pain, with energy, without having to take medications. And we are going to change that for our country.
HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is here. All right, Secretary. I don't know if you can see, but I have a little snack food aisle set up next to me here on set. We have Flamin' Hot Cheetos. We have Skittles. We have Trix, Fruit Loops, the whole thing. Now, Gutfeld made a point on the 5 today. He said, when I was growing up, I ate Fruit Loops for breakfast every day, and I turned out just fine. Now, I would argue he turned out like a maniac. He's hyperactive and deranged, but does he have a point? What are these food dyes actually doing to kids especially?
Yeah, well, if you look at the ingredients for Fruit Loops 20 years ago, it was very, very different than it is today. And today we use chemicals in Fruit Loops that are banned in virtually every country in the world. So if you buy Fruit Loops today in Canada, it is...
Like, guys, I'm telling you, like, if this is not a revolution, we put stuff in our food that is banned in literally almost every first world country in the world. It's banned. That's how bad it is. Don't tell me that these big companies don't control what's happening in Washington, D.C.
Made with vegetable dyes. If you buy it here in the United States, it's made with petroleum synthetics. And as I said in that clip, nobody wants to eat petroleum. So when we went to meet with the food companies, I said to my staff, you know, if they want to eat petroleum, they should put it in their food themselves at home. They shouldn't be feeding it to Americans who, without their knowledge, without their consent. And today we announced that we're going to get it out of the food. So there are 9 dyes, Jesse. 2 of them we're going to ban immediately, Orange Bee and Red Dye 2. We're going to accelerate the removal of Red Dye 3, so we're going to bring it down to under a year. And the other 6 dyes, within 18 months, we hope to get them out of all the food. And that's just the beginning. I mean, one of the problems is that the science about these additives has been systematically suppressed for 30 years because the industry has been running this agency. And we're getting rid of all of those conflicts. We've gotten rid of most of them. And we're going to do real science. And we're going to do science precisely on the issues that Americans care about. Making sure their kids are getting food that isn't poison.
Yes.
The food our kids are eating today is not really food. It's food-like substances. And some of it was made in petroleum refineries. And we need to give our kids real food again. We've got the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. When my uncle was president, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, it's 60%. 74% of our kids cannot qualify for military service. We have fertility rates that are just spiraling. A teenager today, an American teenager, has less testosterone than a 68-year-old man. Sperm counts are down 50%.
Wait, so an American teenager has less testosterone than a 60-year-old man?
Oh, my goodness.
That's right, because the testosterone levels have dropped 50% from historic levels. And, you know, and that is a problem. And it's an existential problem. But that is only when we have obesity. That is off the charts. Yeah. Again, when my uncle was president, we had about 11% of kids had obesity. Today, 74% of Americans are obese or overweight. And, you know, in Japan, it's 3%. So, you know, and that's because they pay attention to what they're feeding kids in school.
Yeah, yes. The Japanese are very skinny, except for the sumo wrestlers. Those people, not so skinny. Rosie O'Donnell, of all people, Mr. Secretary, and I don't want to be mean or personally attack her, but she says you're unqualified. You don't know the science, and you should be fired. What do you say to Rosie?
Well, you know, there was a wave of anger against me because I announced that we're going to find the cause of autism. This is something that President Trump told me on day one. I want to know what's causing it within a year. And I announced how we're going to do that. We are going to farm out grants to 15 groups, teams of the top scientists in the world. And we're going to look at all of the possible culprits. And we're going to do that within a year. We'll have answers within 6 months. We'll have definitive answers within a year, and we'll know. And then we'll be able to eliminate the exposures.
Guys, if you appreciate this, guys, because remember, this doesn't happen. This guy's a Democrat who literally is working with Trump to make America healthier again. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat who's now a Republican. Elon Musk was a Democrat who's now essentially a Republican. How many more Democrats have to come over to the Republican side for people to realize that, guess what? America is changing, and we don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. We just want America first policies. We just want to make America greater. Mad Nana, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Mad Nana some love in the chat. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments because it's just so much common sense.
And this kind of tsunami of anger against me for making that announcement was almost incomprehensible to me. I mean, why would people not want to know what the cause of autism is? We know it's an epidemic. The science is very clear. It was about 1 in 10,000 kids in 1970. And there's the biggest epidemiological study in history was done in 1970 in American history, 900,000 kids. And they found all the kids in Wisconsin were tested. There were 60 of them had autism. Today, it's 20,000, and that's the same number.
Wow.
We've gone from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 31, 1 in every 20 boys in this country. In California, it's 1 in 20 kids and 1 in 12 boys.
Wow.
So this is a crisis. This is 20 times worse than COVID-19 in terms of the economic impact, the social impact, the moral impact on our country's capacity to lead the world, to be an exemplary nation. All of that is challenged. To have the vigor and robust population that we need to become an industrial and economic power again.
You know,
we're destroying all of that.
Mr. Secretary,
and we need to find out what the answer is.
You just mentioned COVID-19. We're seeing reports that you're considering removing the COVID vaccine as a mandatory shot for children. And we're also seeing that Fauci doubled his fortune over the last couple of years, right after the pandemic. Are you going to look into how that happened?
Well, in terms of President Trump doesn't believe that anybody should get mandatory vaccines. There's a medical intervention. It has risks. People should make that choice for themselves. The COVID vaccine, the recommendation for children was always dubious. And it was dubious because kids had almost no risk for COVID-19. Certain kids that had very profound morbidities may have a slight risk. Most kids don't. So why are we giving this to tens of millions of kids when the vaccine itself does have profound risk? We've seen huge associations with myocarditis and pericarditis, with strokes, with other injuries, with neurological injuries. And this was clear even in the clinical data that came out of Pfizer. There were actually more deaths. There were about 23% more deaths in the vaccine group than the placebo group. So, we need to ask questions and we need to consult with parents. We need to give people informed consent, and we shouldn't be making recommendations that are not good for the population.
All right.
Guys, I'm so thankful what we're showing for you today. I'm so thankful the first judge got arrested. Bonnell Anderson, thank you so much for the super chat. Y'all show Bonnell some love in the chat. Guys, I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers. Thank you so much to all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here, guys. We want you here. We want you to subscribe so we can give you the breaking news every single day. Guys, it is nuts what we're seeing. This world is changing. The United States is changing. We're exposing all the corruption, the fraud, the waste, abuse, and we're bringing it here, guys. I'm telling you, some of the stuff I show you, it's like we're like 2 days ahead of the actual, mainstream, what I show you, whether it's Fox or Newsmax. We're like 2 days ahead. We make sure that you're taken care of, guys. Want to say, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hit that thumbs up like button, guys. We got to give some love to the people of the members of the channel. Guys, if you're a member, show them some love. Guys, y'all are the best, helping us to continue to give more and more every single month to these local charities. Guys, we've officially given over $33,000 in the past 7 months to local charities with your support. Live on stream, guys. Live on stream. It means the world to me that you support us. And we take that memberships and those super chats, and we're changing lives, guys. Want to say thank you so much, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, for gifting all these True Life News memberships. Guys, y'all showing some love in the chat. OG of the channel. Deborah Holstay, Robin King, Jay Ewers, Donna, Dina McDaniel, Joyce Saraday, Virginia Friday, Leon Wilson, Hope K59, Paul Triggs, Bonnell Anderson, Mad Nana. Guys, y'all show them some love in the chat. We love you all. We appreciate you so much, guys. And we're so excited for where things are going. We're going to be here for it. We're going to support you. We're going to bring you the breaking news Monday through Friday. 2 shows a day. 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. We love you. Appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.